Got a lot going on tonight. In a Dallas restaurant in the Design District, a really nice new restaurant that's gotten rave reviews and hoity-toity chefs. A woman and some folks go into this restaurant. They allegedly a woman goes into the bathroom and may have smoked marijuana in the men's bathroom and is thrown out. She alleges racism. You'll see the video yourself that went viral and 17 million views and 200,000 likes, where she says it's racism. That's why she was thrown out. You do not want to miss that. Baby Gabriel. This is a riveting case that I've told you about yesterday. This baby was, it's carried by a surrogate mother. There was a heart condition that came up, and the family that, the husband and wife that said, we want you to, carry our baby to term, they said, abort the baby. She did her research. She's a nurse. She fled to Texas. I've got a big update on that and some pictures of who this woman is and how you can help if you want. That's coming up in a minute. Also, Fort Worth issuing a moratorium on data centers. Dallas police, flock cameras in the news today. Not good, depending on your opinion. But also sex trafficking. I've been telling you about sex trafficking and how real it is and how it's a real serious problem. You know that, I know that, but what is it? What is it like? What does a woman go through, a young lady or a girl go through when they go through this? Where can we see it? What are some of the stories that we're gonna really hear about sex trafficking, how it impacts these young ladies, where it is, how to spot it in our area. And it's just a very difficult topic that we're going to delve into big time with my guest, Stacy Silvas, the founder of Thrive Counseling Services in Dallas in Deep Ellum. You do not want to miss this riveting story. All that's coming up next. But first, this show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Okay, right back into the stories here. Dallas restaurant stands firm after viral racism claim over marijuana smell. This is from the Dallas Express. Maroma, a coastal Mexican restaurant at 1333 Oak Lawn in the Design District, says that race had nothing to do with it. She smelled like weed. Customers were sitting next to her. They wanted to move. People that went to the bathroom after her. She allegedly went to the men's restroom and smoked weed. Watch this video. This is quite something else. And it's just, to me, this is a total bullying and making racism as a scapegoat. Watch this. And this woman at this restaurant, the manager, handles it very well.
So you're saying you can't serve us because of why?
I can't smell you. I can't serve you because I smelled it when.
Do you smoke?
You came into the
Do you smoke? Do you smoke? I don't smoke.
I can only go off of.
You're going off of what? You're going off of what? You're going off of what's your name? What's your name? Tell me your name. And you're discriminating.
I'm not.
We do not smoke. No one here smokes. So now you can't serve us because we smell like smoke?
I'm coming to you and telling you that I can't serve because I can smell marijuana and I won't be serving in another bathroom. Yes.
Okay.
Can you believe it? Horribly mistreating that woman and her standing up there and doing what she needed to do, which is throw him out. Here's some of the details on this. The woman is a TikTok creator, Andrea Chantel. She says, we went to Maroma in Dallas expecting to have a normal night out. Instead, we walked away feeling racially profiled and completely humiliated. Here's the thing. The TABC, the Texas Bureau of Alcohol, Texas Alcohol Bureau and Commission, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, says you cannot sell to somebody who's intoxicated. So if you reek of weed, by default, you're going to be intoxicated. If customers sitting around your table smell weed, then and they don't want to sit by you and they're moving, throw them out. They were trying to get alcohol. That was the whole thing here. They didn't have to get alcohol. They were denied service because they're allegedly intoxicated. And so what does this lady do? She wants to score points. She wants to get more followers. She makes it about racism. But when you reek of weed, absolutely. And by the way, she and her establishment can be criminally charged if they sell alcohol to somebody who is high on marijuana or intoxicated by any type of a substance. So the TikTok quote-unquote creator says in a follow-up video she was the only person in the group who used the restroom area, that she entered the men's room because the women's room was occupied. She maintained she did not smoke. She planned to seek legal counsel. I understand how I handled the situation was inappropriate. I was coming from a place of anger. I was hurt. Well, maybe it's because you were stoned. I don't know. She said that the Maroma staff observed a strong odor of marijuana, they say, odor, and had concerns about the possible use in a restaurant restroom. Management said the smell was significant enough that nearby guests asked to move. Well, here's the thing. This is a fairly pricey restaurant, apparently. I don't spend, some serious bucks to be by somebody who reeks of weed. I'm not doing that. So, and Texas law prohibits selling alcohol to intoxicated persons. TABC guidance tells staff who cut off alcohol service to remain calm, to notify management, to be courteous but firm, refuse additional alcohol, and walk away, and then to be prepared for a racism allegation. Just kidding, I made that part up. So now they have to add, the TABC has to add that when you deny service, also be prepared for a racism allegation. Get out of here. Maroma said they made a judgment call based on the odor, the employee observations, and complaints for nearby guests. I stand by the restaurant 120%, period. Baby Gabriel, born in Texas after a surrogate defies abortion demand over a treatable heart defect. This baby had about 30. A boy had about 34 weeks. 34 weeks is how old the baby was, I believe, at the time of birth. And this is what, I had some video, this precious video, of what a little baby who's about 34 weeks old looks like. Look at this. So absolutely precious with that little baby. And can you imagine that? The child, the only difference between that child being out of the utero and in utero is a little distance. And they wanted to abort this beautiful baby child. Now, that's not the actual baby, but nonetheless, baby Gabriel. So what happened was the baby was born with HLHS, hypoplastic left heart syndrome. And the mother is a nurse from Alaska. She agreed to be a surrogate mom from a California couple. The California couple, when she told them the baby was diagnosed with HLHS, they said, abort the baby now. She said, I am not aborting this baby. She did her research as an RN. She saw that Texas Children's Medical Center is absolutely 100% effective on surgeries. The first surgery has to be done immediately after the birth or shortly after the birth. Then it stages in the baby's life. More surgeries have to happen. The mom fled to Texas. The mom got an emergency order from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The mom gave birth to the baby. The mom has a picture of herself, and there's a fundraiser I'm going to show you right here. Look at this. There is McKenna, the nurse, and there she is pregnant with baby Gabriel, and she is fighting to keep this baby alive and to protect it. And you can donate right there on Give, Send, Go. I have it tweeted out on my Twitter feed. You can follow me on Twitter. Here's my address on Twitter if you'd like to do that. And then by all means, actually that's my Rumble and YouTube address. Just go to @ChrisKrock Show. That's @ChrisKrock Show, ChrisKrok on Twitter, or X, that is, and donate. It's right towards the top of my feed. But Paxton's, Attorney General Ken Paxton's office announced today it secured an emergency order directing UT Southwestern Medical Center, Children's Medical Center of Dallas, to provide baby Gabriel with life-saving care. He will now receive treatment for his heart condition, and I could not be happier. Dallas Express doing a bang-up job on this. The baby's birth came less than 24 hours after Ken Paxton intervened. The order prohibits anyone from withholding or obstructing necessary treatment or removing, discharging, or transferring the baby while court considers the case. It does not restrict the mother's ability to make medical decisions concerning her own health or the pregnancy. The California couple, Nasheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed, when baby Gabriel was diagnosed with HLHS during 20-week ultrasound, said, abort it. She refused, did her research, fled to Texas where she sees it's 100% curable with surgeries. They wanted her to abort that baby. My big question yesterday when I first told you about this, when I saw it, is are they going to want to kill this baby once it's born? It is born now. The baby is born. Do they want to still kill the baby? I mean, and what shame for them that this baby is born. What shame for them that this baby, according to the record that Children's Medical Center of Dallas is 100% effective. So the shame of this baby being alive, the shame of this baby most likely growing up to be 100% healthy and fine, is on these parents. And it's a disgrace, and it's shameful, and it's so sad and disgusting that they wanted to abort this baby. And I'm proud of Mom. Children with HLHS typically require a series of surgeries, reports the Dallas Express, beginning shortly after birth. The Norwood procedure, generally performed within the first weeks of life, followed by additional surgeries as the child grows. Her attorneys, the surrogate mom's attorneys, say the baby Gabriel appears to be a standard risk patient, standard, not high, for the initial procedure, and that the surgery offers a strong chance of survival. God will shame people. God will shame people. And I believe the baby's birth and the baby's survival will shame this couple. And I am so glad we know their names. And I think everybody should know about Nasheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed. Now they can say they wanted to kill the baby who will grow up fine. Look, what do they want the baby back. They want to get the custody. They want her to come back to California. The protection order is going on right now, so they can't. The parents now went on to file a $250,000 lawsuit against this woman. Shame on them. Shame on them. They demand she returns the money that they paid her for surrogacy. Will they want the baby once the procedures are done and presumably the baby is fine? That's my question. Will they want the baby to come back into their custody once it's fine? Once he's fine, excuse me. That's the big question. In just a couple of minutes, I'm going to be telling you stories. I'm not going to be telling you stories. You're going to be hearing stories about sex trafficking. You're going to be hearing about where this happens in Dallas-Fort Worth, about how you can spot it. I'm even going to share a story not only from Dallas at an adult bookstore that was trafficking minors in Dallas, but also a story out of the East Coast in New Jersey that is just vile. And there are women on the front lines of sex trafficking that are they're helping the victims of sex trafficking to break the chains of it, to free them from maybe hating themselves, being mad at the world, blaming themselves. A lot of these girls are sex trafficked by their own parents sometimes for drugs and such. So you're going to hear some compelling stories from a woman who started a Christian ministry that is licensed practicing professional counseling for victims of sex trafficking in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a major hub. Do not miss that in just a moment. But first, this show brought to you by IRSprob.com, IRSPRB.com, helping good people with IRS problems. Randy Martin is my CPA, longtime CPA, and I want to show you where you can go. Go to IRSprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com. For 10 years, Randy and his team have been my CPAs. For 10 years, they have served me very well. This past year, 2025, was a big one for me, being my own small business owner and being a 100% small business guy, and they did it for me. They're the best. Also, here's Randy speaking at UT Austin, his alma mater, the best school for accountancy in the state of Texas. And Randy is a friend and has been my CPA and sponsor for 10 years, as I've said, over 10 years now, as I've said. So go to IRSprob.com. That's IRSPRB.com. If you have a loved one who passed away and there's some tax issues, if you just want a great tax planner, if your business has some tax problems or you do, go to IRSprob.com. That's IRSPRB.com, or call 214-214-3000. That's 214-214-3000, and tell them Chris Crock sent you. Today is my Due West Foundation and Plumbing Day. My friend Jim Dutton, the host of Texas Home Improvement on TV and radio here in Dallas-Fort Worth, also in Houston and Austin, owns Due West Foundation and Plumbing. Jim is a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. My wife even worked with them for 3 years. They've been my plumbers and foundation people for over 11 years since I bought this house. In fact, I didn't get the house until they inspected it for foundation and plumbing. They are the best. Here they were just a week ago at my house, snaking my line. It was backed up. There they are, snaking the line. Here they are replacing my T&P valve, temperature and pressure valve, on my 8-year-old water heater that they installed. They go out naturally after a certain amount of time. So what I want you to do is go to du-west.com for all your plumbing, all your foundation. They also do concrete leveling and retention walls, root shields, grading. They are the best. Plumbing and foundation, don't use anybody else. They're my guys and have been for over a decade. Go to du-west.com. That's du-west.com, or call 972-406-0912, 972-406-0912. Okay, let's get into, I got two things also that are huge. Flock search. Dallas police searched flock data I'm going to round it, 64,000 times. 64,000 times the Dallas police used flock cameras. And so many people hate this. So many people are outraged. So many people are upset by flock cameras. I am not. If you want to be private and you're out and about, then stay home. The flock cameras don't get anything from inside of the vehicle. They don't take any data from inside of the vehicle. They don't take pictures of whoever's inside of the vehicle. It is of the vehicle on the outside. It is the license plates. It is a description of the vehicle, the color. It is bumper stickers, anything you can see on the outside or damage. Flock cameras even get law enforcement people. I fill in Chicago regularly. I'll be on in Chicago on Friday morning and again Tuesday next week. And my hometown. And an Illinois state trooper was just cuffed and stuffed for raping a woman. And the reason they caught him was flock cameras. It's law enforcement people as well. It's not just private citizens. So no, I'm not against them. And I know people don't like that, but too bad. Hide. If you don't like it, hide. Dallas Express had a piece today talking about how your cell phone at home, microphones record you, Alexa at home, your laptop, your cell phone, it records you. You know how it looks. You talk about something, and all of a sudden you see it on a search engine. Dude, you're tracked everywhere. If you don't like flock cameras, don't go out and about. That's all I can tell you. It's public. You don't have a right to be on a road. A driver license, you don't have a right to a driver license or to be driving. It's a privilege, not a right. So no, hard pass on that. Dallas cops search for vehicles requiring flock automated license plate readers database more than 63,000 times. This brand new report from WFA TV Channel 8 says they tracked down investigative leads, try to find suspects' cars, look for people with active warrants. Data obtained by WFAA showed. In 2025, the flock camera audit showed some searches included as many as 101,000 different devices across more than 7,000 flock networks, far beyond 670 devices the department says it has within city limits. Only some officers are authorized to search the database. DPD says so some officers may have searches. The data shows one officer searched the database more than 7,000 times. I don't have a problem if they're doing it righteously. And yes, officers abuse it, and when they do, they are arrested, jailed, and prosecuted, and should be. And yes, they will lose their badge, and they should be, and they should never be able to be a peace officer again in any state, let alone in Texas, okay? So I'm still for flock cameras, guys. I know people will snipe at me on social media sometimes. It doesn't bother me at all. Fort Worth City Council issues a moratorium on new data centers. So you have Democrat Socialists of America like Francesca Hong, who lost by a couple thousand votes in Wisconsin yesterday to be governor. You have socialist Democrats, socialists from the state of Michigan. You have people that are against this, left and right, are against data centers. New York State is the first state with Kathy Hochul to ban data centers for to pause them, like a permanent pause until they want to change their minds. Data centers do not take up any more water than a golf course. Data centers, new ones, for example, there's one in Texas that's just coming online. They did a story about it. 85% of the year it uses no water. They have a closed-loop system which cools itself. 15% of the year they use water. When they do use water year-round, it's still the same amount as a golf course. It still is the same amount of a similar-sized office complex or industrial complex. The biggest use of water in the country is the almond industry in California alone. If you don't like our water being used, then you got to go after the almond growers, the farmers, which I know we have to eat, but you get my point. Go after the office complexes. Second of all, energy. I agree with you. They should never be allowed to get onto our grid without proving they can provide their own energy, or that it'll be a very minimal amount of energy. And I'm with you 110% on that. But to put a moratorium is to bow to hysteria. And let me tell you something. The first time I found out about data centers and why they're not bad is from a conservative journalist who was booked. I fill in for my friend Mark Davis here in Dallas-Fort Worth regularly. I'll be on again for Mark for like a week and a couple weeks. And producer Rhonda Kay for Mark Davis booked this guy. And I was like, okay, we're going to talk about data centers. And this guy gave all the facts from a conservative perspective. And one of the things he said is it's quite possible that foreign adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, are sponsoring the misinformation and disinformation about data centers. The New York Post, very conservative, as we all know, wrote a scathing column saying how data centers absolutely don't suck up the kind of water that people claim they do. So the facts are the facts, and unequivocally, yes, I believe foreign adversaries are, as the guest on Mark Davis' show said, influencing things and financing things and putting stuff online to make people think that these are a threat to us. They are not a threat to us, as long as you know what's going on with them. In fact, a lot of them create tax incentives that are massive. There's a town in Louisiana, a rural town. Every teacher in Louisiana in that rural town got like either a $15,000 or a $20,000 or $25,000 bonus that year, and the town's budget was like lopped in half because the taxes from the data center. So I think this is an embarrassment, and it's hysteria for the city of Fort Worth to issue this moratorium. Quote, this concern is amplified by a rapid technological change, partisan election battles, conflicting information, certainly about AI's future, Parker added. There is no question about AI's future. Every time you use this phone, now you don't use this one because it's mine. Every time you use a computer or a laptop like I got right here or like I got right here, you are using a data center. All right? China's putting on a lot more than we are, and people say, well, I'm sick of hearing China, 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 but I'm telling you something. It's crucially important to our future. So know your facts. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's do this. Let's talk to my guest because she has a very powerful story. She has a lot of powerful stories to share with us. And her name is Stacy Silvas. And Stacy is not only a friend, but she also was my boss. And here she's smiling, so that means I mustn't be that bad. Stacy, can you hear me okay?
I can. Hey, Chris.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm having the hardest time with my audio connection on this. Hold on. Let me see if I can hear you here. Go ahead.
Hey, Chris.
Okay. I don't hear you, but you're going over the air. Let me do this. I'm going to have to pause, if you don't mind. I'm sorry. And I'm going to have to refire up it does this sometimes. Let me double check one thing. Oh, here it is. There's what happened. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Gosh. It's so my laptop or my whatever hard drive here just went bye-bye, or whatever, these settings. Okay, so can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good, and I can hear you. Okay, so yes, you were my boss, and let the record show I did not get fired, allegedly.
That is true.
That's true.
You were not fired. Chris was great to work with.
That's very, very sweet of you. That's very kind of you. We worked for about a year together, and I'm going to play a video of you that I watched this video. There are moments with your ministry which I donate to. It's on auto donate regularly monthly. There are you're like, I only do one other one, you and one other one. Other than that, I tie it to my church regularly and such. But there are moments when in your ministry that just rivet me. And people don't understand the horrors, the pain, the reality, the hell of somebody who might be wanting to escape nearby. There's a story that I told you about with my former pastor, my former church. I've been at First Baptist Dallas for 11 years. Prior to that, I was in North Dallas. And of a sex-trafficked woman who came in and left something on the chair she was sitting in. And I said, is that really something? And you said, yes, it is. First thing, let's start out this, okay? I want to play this video. This is a video of you. And in the video, It's got Rana. I can't remember Rana's last name from Exodus Ministries.
Run across with Refuge City.
Refuge City. I'm sorry, but you work with Exodus Ministries, Refuge City. Thank you. Alive at Last, the Poema Foundation, and to me, these are not halfway houses. These are safe houses. This is where women go because they are threatened, because they need to be. It's a safe place where they're safe. I mean, it's a sanctuary, if you will, and people need to understand that. And I think people need to understand the depth of wickedness that's out there and how it can be just around the corner from us. This video is of you and Rana, and by the way, chime in at any time. I'm sorry if if you wanted to say something, I'll talk my ear out. Rana, and you were talking, and then a woman named Natasha. And she talks about how you gave her the confidence, the Thrive Ministries and your counselors, and you gave her the confidence to ask a judge for a second chance at getting custody of her children. Your counselors have talked about how there is often no other advocate except for you guys, for these women. And I can't imagine. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, I was just going to say, the reality is that hopefully a lot of us have family members that we can count on. We maybe have friends that we've known for a long time that are behind us. But for the survivors that we work with, for a lot of them, none of those things are true. They do not have family members that are safe, reliable, and trustworthy that they can lean on. They don't have friends that are safe, reliable, and trustworthy that they can lean on. And so at times they are really vulnerable, and depending on the rest of us who are their neighbors to care about the situation that they're in, to provide things like safe housing, to provide the counseling support that they need to heal, because those other safety nets just aren't there for them.
So a woman might grow up, and you've told me about this. This is one of the many things that happens that leads to sex trafficking. A woman might grow up as a child, and mom might be doing drugs and allow men and prostitute, sex traffic their own daughter for drugs, and that's how it starts. So I want, yeah.
Yes. I was going to say, unfortunately, there is a lot of trafficking that happens within families. And, we maybe think of trafficking as something that happens because of the name, where people are being transported from one place to another. And sometimes that happens. But a child can be trafficked, or a youth can be trafficked without ever leaving their house. Right. So just because they're with family, just because they're, in the house next door to you, doesn't necessarily mean that they're safe from trafficking. And especially if that family member has a history of, substance abuse or addiction, they have their own history of abuse or exploitation. That child can be at risk. That child can be trafficked from their home with their family.
I want people to think about that. You're a girl, you're growing up. How old are some of these younger girls that get trafficked by their own family? How old starting out? From what you've seen.
We work with ages 12 and up. But certainly some of the things that have happened to them happened before they were 12.
So you're 8, 10, you're 8, 10.
There's no age that's off, that's like, oh,
evil knows no bounds. Evil knows no bounds. So, and evil's real, and that's why people need to hear these powerful, difficult things to know what's going on out there and not hide away from it. And I mean, so you grow up in a home and you're sex trafficked by your own mother. You then go out and you're sex trafficked as a young adult. You get a boyfriend they often will do sex trafficking too, coming out of the situations you've taught me, and jump in at any point. But and then you somehow escape, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and you have no advocate. So from a childhood, you've been abused and used like a piece of meat or something. And then you are abused as a young adult. You finally escape and you have no advocate. What's that like for these young girls or these women coming into you?
It makes it incredibly difficult to recover and to move forward in life. You know, if you could just think for a second of the times when you've had a transition, right? Maybe you were graduating high school and figuring out what you were going to do next. Maybe you're graduating college and, you know, kind of like, where am I going to go? How am I going to provide for myself? What am I going to do next, right? Those are the times when friends and family make all the difference. You know, you have people to provide advice, you have people to provide a safety net if you need a place to go for a little while. And these women have none of that. And so when it comes to moments where it's like, I literally have nowhere to go next. How, you know, then it's like, how do people possibly recover from all of the traumatic stress that they have been through when there's no safety net for them? There's no one to lean on. And that's where some of the other organizations and ministries that we work alongside with, you know, come in to provide things like safe housing, and we come alongside and provide that recovery support. We provide the mental health treatment to actually help them heal, stabilize, and be ready to take some next steps in life in a different direction.
I want to play the video now. This is of you talking about, this is when I watched the video, and I can't remember how long it is, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, I don't know, that you guys had professionally produced. And there's 20 seconds to me that are the most riveting. I boil it down to this. Here we go.
It is such an immense joy to see when those families begin to come back together. It feels to me like we are taking back ground that the enemy stole from people and putting back in their lives what God intended to be there.
We are taking back ground that the enemy stole from people. That brings almost tears to my eyes, because the enemy steals from people in any way he can. He prowls around like a roaring lion seeking to devour us. You are a Christian ministry. You provide licensed professional Christian counseling to victims of sex trafficking. Tell me about that. The enemy stole.
Yeah, Chris, I definitely operate from the conviction that everyone was meant to and was born into family, right? Family is part of God's design for us. And for so many of the survivors that we work with, family just didn't turn out to be anything that we would think of, right? It wasn't the safe place for them to grow up. It did not have people who were reliable and trustworthy and safe in their family. And we work with a lot of young mothers who are at that precipice of like, I don't want to repeat this cycle. Like, I don't want to end up, you know, having my kids in the same situation that I was in growing up, or I don't want them to have the experiences that I had. And helping them to stabilize, helping them to be a parent to their child, to provide a safe environment, a loving environment, to have their own like mental health stability in order to do that. It's just a huge part of what we do. And we see that as putting back together something that's literally been taken away from them. It was supposed to be theirs all along. It's what they were meant for. And now they have their own family to care for. And we just want to put back together things that were supposed to be there and were supposed to be, whole, healthy, and loving from the beginning.
Now, Thrive Counseling Services is one of my sponsors, and one of the things we're doing is we want people to be able to donate. And this is part of North Texas Giving Day, but you can donate early. It's all good. There's no time frame on that. And I want to show people how they can do that right there. There's a link at the top or on my screen right now that folks can donate there. You go to tinyurl.com/ThriveNTGD as in North Texas Giving Day. Or they can just go to North Texas Giving Day's website and Google Thrive Counseling Services and look for this beautiful logo right there. That's what you look for, Thrive Counseling. And I just want folks to be able to donate as we talk a little bit about sex trafficking, how real it is, and how they can, fight it and be a part of supporting women who have been victims of sex trafficking. So let's go back, Stacy, on this. I want to ask you some questions. I'll kind of go into some of the news stories I have and some direct questions I already kind of wrote up. 8 people indicted. This just happened. The story is from July 28th, 14 days ago. 8 people indicted in an alleged sex trafficking enterprise in Northwest Dallas adult novelty store. This is a joint operation called Midnight at Paris. It was a Paris adult bookstore. Can you imagine somebody going into this thing and supporting this place, but not knowing there was a girl, a minor? These were minors and adults in the back, maybe being hidden from you while you're purchasing adult materials, and there's a minor girl back there who wishes she could be free, who's being sex trafficked. So they took it down. The criminal operation, DPD, Texas IRS Criminal Division Investigation Office, Homeland Security officials, the Attorney General's Office, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. They were trafficked through force, fraud, coercion, conspiracy to launder money instruments, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. 21 firearms confiscated from the individuals throughout the investigation. For more than 2 decades, the officials said, the Paris adult bookstore allegedly operated under the guise of a legitimate business while functioning as an illicit brothel. What does this make you think about or come to mind for all the stuff that you've done with fighting sex trafficking and helping women?
Yeah, because I know one of the questions that I get so often is like, how do people end up in that situation? How does trafficking happen? And I just want to share a story with you that's kind of an example and also illustrates how traffickers target. So I don't know how old this child or youth was, but in the last couple of years here, worked with a teenager going to high school right here in the Dallas area, northern Dallas suburb.
Oh, so a good suburb, right? Like a place where you and I would live, right?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Because trafficking happens everywhere. It's not a neighborhood specific issue. She meets a guy at like the corner store, down the street from high school. Like, they're hanging out, getting Slurpees, getting chips, just being teenagers, and meets this guy. They start talking on, messaging, getting on social media, following each other. So they develop this relationship over a significant period of time because traffickers are, very patient. People who want to abuse children can be very patient. They're playing a long game sometimes. And so we would call that a grooming process, but this grooming process goes on for months. She's talked to this person many times. They've seen each other. They've met up in person many times.
Interesting.
And nothing has happened. Nothing has happened in this, relationship that they've built and the communications that they've had that makes her feel uncomfortable. There probably should have been some red flags as an adult, on the outside. I'm like, oh, there are definitely red flags. But for her, it didn't raise any red flags. And it seems like this person is just a cool person that is into me and I get to hang out with them and they,
Yeah.
So this relationship unfolds over time. And one day, she willingly gets in the car with him because, again, this person is someone that she's known over multiple
considers
months,
a friend.
lots of conversations.
Right.
Yeah, this is not a stranger. This is not a weirdo or something like
Right.
that. So she gets in the car with him, but he doesn't bring her back. They travel to another city in Texas. For this particular youth, there were adults watching out for her and reported her missing.
Okay.
And so police get involved, right? And police end up recovering her. But it's just that easy, right? I'm like, this kid wasn't anywhere they shouldn't be. They weren't doing anything in some dark, illicit spot, and yet they ended up somewhere. Like, I don't know how, in this story here, how that child got there, but it could have been that easy, right?
Right.
That met
How
someone
far and
somewhere, and next thing they know, they're in the back room of this place.
How far and how fast before they get turned around to the sex trafficking for when they're taken away without, not knowing they're going to be basically abducted and sex trafficked?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, like right away.
Yep.
Yeah, right away. Like
Let's go.
there's no
Yeah.
time elapsed there because the person's been planning this for a long time, right?
Think of how many young girls that he's doing this recruiting at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, the other thing is, I think about. I think you're familiar with this story, if I'm not mistaken. The teenage girl, and maybe you're not. I think I may have told it to you, but teenage girl, like 15ish, goes to the Mavs game with her dad. This just happened like a year or two ago. She goes to the
Yeah.
Mavs game with her dad. Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. She's like 15. Of course she can go to the bathroom by herself at a Mavs game. Of course she's gonna be safe. It's in public. Vanishes, and within an hour or two, she apparently may have willingly gone with the guy. She's 15. She whatever. I don't know how that went down, but these guys are they know what they're doing when they're trying to get somebody to get in a car, right?
Yeah.
She's up in Oklahoma within an hour or two in a hotel room being sexually assaulted and sex trafficked.
Yeah, in a matter of hours. And I don't know the particular back history for that story, but traffickers and child abusers are master manipulators. I mean, they have honed that skill to be able, like, I can figure out the right thing to say to get this person to trust me, to get them to go with me. And yeah, our kids and our youth are caught off guard a lot of time. They don't realize what's happening.
Yes, and I want to ask you this. So how prevalent is sex trafficking in DFW and all over the country? I mean, and where does it happen? This might be kind of we've already gone over, but like I think about I watched you sent me a link to a video from the Attorney General's office of the state of Texas. A Walmart truck driver has been trained. He spotted sex trafficking as he goes out and does his job. A woman in a rural trailer park in rural Texas sees a woman running out of her trailer park screaming, a trailer home screaming, and it's because she's freaking, escaping sex trafficking. A woman in the Woodlands, actually a husband and wife in the Woodlands. These are $700,000-$800,000 plus homes in a neighborhood that used only one way in and one way out into his neighborhood. He says he sees 44 cars coming and going. Some of them are Mercedes and Lexus, others are beaters. And he calls the sheriffs. He goes like, I have a daughter. I can't allow that happening, by me. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And it was a sex trafficking operation. It was a foreign entity that owned houses in Houston, a couple, and in New York City. So talk to me about this. How prevalent is it? Where is it, etc.? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, on the where is it? It's everywhere. Like I said, it's not neighborhood specific.
Right.
You can't think of it as, oh, it's in that area over there. It's in that neighborhood. No, it's everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Um, Upscale areas, wealthy areas included, rural areas included. You might be thinking like, oh, in this sweet little small Texas town, that's not happening. No, you cannot assume that anywhere is exempt from trafficking. And Texas consistently ranks number 2 in the nation for the number of cases reported nationwide. So we know from that number alone that Texas has a lot of trafficking happening. And, specifically this North Texas corridor, we are like the connector point in North Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we also have, lots of, sporting events, venues for concerts. And, there's just so many things happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and those things can be magnets for trafficking.
Let me
So
let me tell you about
this is
this one.
definitely a hub. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this one. This is out of New York Post. A New Jersey woman fought her way out of a brutal situation, and she had that relationship where things were fine until one day he, said, get in the car. They get in the car. He's got a gun. They immediately start sex trafficking her in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, wherever that is, Atlantic City, Gloucester City, and Philadelphia. One of the girls was under 18. She finally worked up the courage to tell a man who was a quote unquote client that she quietly told one customer the horrifying truth. She said she was being trafficked and begged him for help. He did help her. At some point, she tried to escape, and then the sex trafficker attacked her. sparking a violent struggle spilled out of the motel room and up a staircase where residents stepped in and called police. They recovered methamphetamine and 4 cell phones from the scenes. So this woman brutally, thankfully, escaped. How common is something like that where it's a terrifying escape? And then how often, I would imagine, are firearms used as intimidation and drugs to keep them high and compliant?
Yeah, when we're talking about adults, one of the markers that makes something trafficking is that there's force, right? And there's coercion. And so the threat of violence, the feeling like my life is in danger is definitely a piece of what goes on with trafficking. That part doesn't have to be present when we're talking about minors, just
Right.
any kind of exchange for sexual activity when it involves a minor qualifies. But that force piece is for sure. And I've talked to many people who were like, I don't know if there's a way for me to get out of this and still be alive. Like, I think I have to stay here. I have to keep doing this. I have to keep these people happy because my life is on the line. And,
Unbelievable.
and there's a lot of coercion involved in this as well, right? Where it's like,
Hmm.
maybe the person could get up and walk out of the room and they could, but there's that, those thoughts planted in their mind, like, who's going to believe you? Where are you going to go? How are you, like, what on earth are you going to do? And the ladies, that really takes root, and they get into that mindset where, like, yeah, no one's going to believe that this was what's happening to me. No one's going to help me. There's not anything else that I could do. I don't have anything. Most of them don't have anything. They don't have their control of their own ID. They don't have control of their own money. They don't have control of their own anything, right? So
Hmm.
that makes it really difficult for people to walk away and get help, even when there's not force.
Now I'm holding up a whole bunch of questions I haven't even gotten to yet, and so we're going to have you on again as part of this campaign for North Texas Giving Day to tell how to spot sex trafficking, and your story, because you have a great story about. I love it. I mean, you came here, you weren't planning on working in this, with the victims of sex trafficking or anything like that, and then all of a sudden, and by the way, if you want to just chime in too, I don't want to try to cut this off, but all of a sudden you're finding yourself in a parking lot at night, and the judge says, "Do you want to go talk to her?" That would be you, Stacey Silvas, licensed practicing counselor, to prostitution women who are prostituting themselves. Do you want to go talk to Stacey, or do you want to go talk to the judge over there? And then so that's how it started out, isn't it? How your ministry that ministers to women who are victims of sex trafficking started out. You did not plan. I'm not saying you didn't want to do this, but you had this wasn't your goal.
It wasn't a goal, and it wasn't a plan, and it was very much something that just, when I came to Dallas and I started working in the Deep Ellum neighborhood, I'm like, survivors found me.
Really?
And these were the kind of stories that I was hearing, and I just developed the conviction, like, oh, probably like some of you who are listening to this, I thought this is something that happens somewhere else. I don't know, some
Right.
foreign country on the other side of the planet. I did not think it was happening to people who were literally my neighbors, who literally lived, blocks from me,
Wow.
at places that I drove by every day. And at that point, I was like, I can't forget that, and I can't walk away from those neighbors and not do anything.
To think that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is a solvable problem. All it takes is for those of us who maybe don't have these kind of experiences to care and to say, like, no, like, not on my watch. We're not going to let this go on.
So I just want everybody to have a chance to donate, and we're going to have you on a couple more times for sure, this month and next month, as because this is all about letting people know how there is a Christian counseling ministry that takes women and helps to free them from their chains of sex trafficking, from mentally to heal and to be able to thrive. Many of these women end up becoming members of churches, being productive members of society. They get their children back. They become people that you and I don't know. I think about, and just because you've been a sex trafficking victim and have been healed through your counseling and through God's healing and through all the process, doesn't mean you can't be very successful, financially or whatever. But I think about a woman who, this is just me in my head. I think about a woman who is just grateful to be free, to be to feel valued and loved by God, and know that it's not their fault. That's one of the things you've taught me. A lot of them come in mad at the world. They blame themselves, and they have to learn it's not their fault, that they are a victim. It's a process. And then I think maybe they're bagging groceries. Maybe they're working at a Target or something. But you know what they are? They're safe, they're happy, and they're free. And what is your freedom worth? It's worth everything. What is knowing God worth? It's everything. So what you do, and chime in at any point. I don't want to just keep talking here. Go ahead. Did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, because I mean, I've been doing this for 10 plus years at this point, and so I've worked with a lot of survivors, and I like to tell people all of those survivors have gone on to work other jobs, and I'm like, even in the process of when they're still working with us, they start finding other employment and working on degrees, and they're taking their kids to school. And so you might think in your mind, like, I don't know anybody that kind of thing has happened to. And I'm like, no, you do, because I know how many of them I've connected with who are now out there, brewing your coffee and handing you your latte and waiting on your table.
And if you only knew, you would say, you would want to tell them, we love you, we support you, we're praying for you, God loves you, and I thank God for you. You'd want to give them an embrace or a handshake and just let them know how much they are loved, and you'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never know.
So I'm like, you may not realize it, but you've met trafficking survivors.
This is the way that you can let them know that you love them and that you care for them, is by donating. And so I'm going to put this up on the on the screen right now, Stacy. I'm going to switch out. Let me see here. 1 second. I gotta do a little cajoling on my technical stuff here. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Anyways, all right. Let me just do this. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. This is how folks can donate. This is all part of North Texas Giving Day. Thrive Counseling Services, a 501c3 organization that 100% of the proceeds go into the ministry. It's 501c3, as I said. And here's a QR code I made, a fancy QR code that you can scan to donate right now. It'll take you to the North Texas Giving Day Thrive website. You can scan that QR code and donate. I donate regularly. I signed up to be a regular donor, automatically deposited, debited on my credit card. So you can scan that QR code, or you can go to this website here, tinyurl.com/thrive-ntgd, North Texas Giving Day, and donate there. And Stacy, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say other than I'm grateful for you and I'm grateful for your time. Go ahead,
Chris. Yeah. I'm thank you for having me on. I'm grateful for the opportunity to bring some awareness to this, and grateful to your audience for listening.
Thank you, Stacy. We'll talk to you again soon. I appreciate you very much. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. There she goes. Stacy Silvas, the founder and head of Thrive Counseling Services. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to play this video one more time because you got to see it. This moved me. This video that they have on their website. This is what you're going to donate for North Texas Giving Day, by the way. Right here. And you can do it early now at that address. Let me show you one more clip of Stacy Silvas talking in one of their produced pieces.
It is such an immense joy to see when those families begin to come back together. It feels to me like we are taking back ground that the enemy stole from people and putting back in their lives what God intended to be there.
So that's your way of letting victims of sex trafficking know that you care for them, that you love them. Donate right there. That'll help them heal. Good stuff. All right. Let's do this now. I want to get into some more great discussions I have for you. Man arrested after profanity. Oh, this is great. Man arrested after profanity-laden tirade over at Tarrant County Commissioner's Court. I'm gonna show you this. This is a link I have from the Star Telegram, and you can see this link for yourself here. This guy, I guess, goes to all the Tarrant County Commissioners meetings and speaks out. Nothing wrong with that. I've been known to do that myself at meetings here in the Metroplex. But swearing. This guy was cussing up a storm at least a couple times, and he has been arrested. He's been arrested for cussing up a storm. Here's what he said. It's been bleeped out by the Star Telegram. I wish they didn't bleep it out so you could see it for yourself and insert your reaction here. But here we go. Hold on. I got to go up to the top there.
Shame! 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 Shame!
You guys are so desperate that Matt Krause is picking in his bucket down to Truth Social Rumble and just saying, socialism, authoritarianism, y'all come and help us, please. And Manny, you said you're all about cooling the temperature, and yet you vote for this extremist. All of you are.
Move him immediately from the room.
I'm walking out, you small man.
You have disrupted this meeting.
Crybaby.
You are disrupting.
You meet one.
All right, so he sweared, I guess he said the word BS twice. Let me share this with you. This is from the Star Telegram today. That guy was cuffed and stuffed. You can see I'm smiling. Fort Worth police arrested Efren E.J. Carrion, who you just saw there cussing up a storm. According to the Star Telegram, that's who he is there. Around 3 a.m., they arrested him. Wednesday, August 12th. So this morning at 3 a.m. Good morning. Hey, good morning. You're under arrest. What? On a warrant from Tarrant County, his friend Alexander Montalvo says. On August 4th, Carrion, Star Telegram reports, was kicked out of Tarrant County Commissioner's Court meeting after he twice used a profane word, which you heard, I believe it's BS, during his minute of public comment. He said the Republicans' extremism and Republican court members themselves were baloney in choice terms. Well, he said BS. The Tarrant County decorum policy prohibits personal attacks, which he did, impertinent, profane, or obscene slanderous remarks, which he did. Promptly afterwards, after he said that, he was Tarrant County Judge Tim O'Hare told sheriff's deputies to remove Carrion, which I support. You saw that from the meeting, but he was already leaving. On his way out, Carrion called O'Hare a small man and a crybaby. That's funny. I mean, this is pretty comical all around to me. But promptly afterwards, County Judge Tim O'Hare told sheriff's deputies. Oh no, I'm sorry. Going to the next line. It was the second time Carrion has been removed from a commissioner's court meeting this year. See, I spoke out at the Wiley School Board meeting month after month after month, okay? As part of the Four Musketeers, we had Marco Hunter Lopez, the young man who's just a wonderful young hero of mine. He's going to be a very big politician down the road. Marco's dad, Marcos Lopez, and also Kyle Katie Sims. And they called each other the Three Musketeers. When I joined in and I was going to the Wiley school board meetings for Wiley East, the Islamization of Wiley East High School, with 4 adult Islamic professional proselytizers allowed to go in, pass out Qurans, hijabs, and Sharia pamphlets to students in the middle of the day, and nothing was being done. The school district was covering it up. The school district was protecting the disgraced, now former principal, Tiffany Doolin, who for 2 years in a row was like wearing, or at least the previous year or two, was wearing hijabs with the girls and saying she loved wearing them, and on her official Raider Nation principal social media feed on Instagram. And then the next year is when she, on World Hijab Day, same day, it was on Sunday this past year, so she did it on Monday. They did it on Monday, and then Marco Hunter Lopez and 3 other students, other students told me that the principal was looking on as the professional prostitutes were allowed in there. And the school district pretended like they had no idea. We don't know what happened. Oh, people go, look at this. People forgot to fill out a form. Oh, there was no signature on this. Oh, how did the principal's signature wasn't on there? How did this happen? Gee, I wonder why. So we kept going to the school board meetings. But what we didn't do is swear. What we didn't do is repeatedly swear. We were not removed. There were times when people would speak too long or do certain things that were against the rules, and the security guy for the district would come up, but they would eventually walk away, so nothing bad happened. In this case, this guy is cussing, so I really don't have sympathy for him being arrested. You don't cuss at these meetings. One cuss, we've all seen it, like one cuss happens, and if it slips out, nobody's coming after you or whatever, but he cussed a few times there from what I saw. So it was the second time he was removed. O'Hare ordered the public cleared from the courtroom at that time, Tuesday, because it was a continual disruptions. That was a whole leftist intentional taking over of the county commissioners meeting, so he threw them out so they could take in one speaker at a time so they would get their speech in front of the commissioner's court, and it was being cable cast or whatever they carried on. But this guy decided to do that, so he got arrested. Wednesday morning, today, Carrion was booked into the Tarrant County Jail under a charge of disrupting a meeting or procession. He has not yet been released as of 9 a.m. Wednesday. He's been there for 6 hours. Well, I don't know if he's been released now, but there you go. Dude, I don't have any sympathy. You might think he's going too far, so be it, but I don't have a problem. I mean, dude, don't swear at the meeting. It's it. Follow the guidelines. What am I going to tell you? That's probably the smallest misdemeanor there is, but there it is. Hey, the Fever coach. How many times have I or you or any of us talked about the WNBA? If you go to somebody and talk about the Dallas Wings in the Metroplex, they're gonna say, "Oh, Wingstop? No, no. Buffalo Wild Wing? No. The Dallas Wings. Is that a new wing restaurant? No, it's a WNBA team in Dallas Fort Worth. What? Nobody knows about this crap. But with Caitlin Clark and with Sophie Cunningham and her, pointing, everything's blown up. And with the woke leftists running the league pretty much, or at least allowed to run the league, and they literally have become, they're what? They're basically Black Lives Matters and a lot of militant lesbians. And they don't want to succeed. They want to keep their leftist fiefdom. And what that means is identity politics, identity based on race, identity based on sexuality. That means being really successful and being white and straight like Caitlin Clark means it's bad. That means having a pair, in this case, of ovaries, like Sophie Cunningham, defending your star player and not being bullied or pushed around means you're a target. And so instead of celebrating the successes, and instead of hiding their biggest success, Caitlin Clark, people are attacking them. You know how this works. So Sophie Cunningham, as we all saw the other day, was clotheslined in the game. I'll show that to you. Where's the clothesline? I think I already yanked it out of my repertoire here. But the coach of the Fever spoke out. The coach who has really gone to great lengths and great pains to not call out the attacks from woke leftist players like Dejanay Carrington with the clothesline on Sophie Cunningham, with Alyssa Thomas throat-punching Caitlin Clark because she absolutely, bends the knee to the woke left militant leftists that are insular and running the league. Here she is at the press conference trying to defend her players while also making sure to bend the knee. Watch this. She makes a fool of herself.
One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference.
She said she didn't see the play in real time, and as you see that arrow, look, there she is watching her player get clotheslined by Dejanay Carrington, and she said, I didn't see the play.
Say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference.
She's right there. The Empress has no clothes.
I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Yes, you did. You're right there on the lower right of the screen watching. Let's go back to the arrow. There she is. I didn't see it in real time. Yes, you did. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Let's get right back similar to where I was. Okay, continue.
You can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Were there any
I take personally
Here's when she goes off on some fake mic drop moment and embarrasses herself.
any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time.
No, she doesn't. She didn't talk about the throat punch and admit that it was a throat punch. None of that crap.
They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are f***ing playing. The reality is,
There you go. Swear, that really helps it out. Oh, you're tough.
with me, I will always lead with love. I will always lead with grace. I will always lead with humility. And I will always lead with integrity. Doesn't mean I'll always get it right. I'm also human. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win.
Pound the table, use profanity to try to pretend like you care when you care more about protecting the woke left.
It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line.
More profanity, try to pretend like she's passionate.
Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
What an absolute joke she is. What an absolute joke. These folks are doing everything they can to destroy the possibility of the WNBA being a mainstream major sport. It's amazing. Everything the left touches gets destroyed. Let me give you an example. Libraries. The Library Association, wherever all librarians, not all of them, but there's a lot of librarians, and the Library Association is totally captivated by the woke left. And so what they do is they allow bums to come in, take showers in the bathroom. They allow people to be high on drugs. They pass out Narcan to all the libraries across the country. A guy who I read an article that was just totally like unbelievable to me. This guy's a security guy. He was in law enforcement for years. Then he became a library security type guy, and he did the circuit. He he goes to library systems and does security audits and teaches them how to keep secure and stuff like that. So he got a gig to speak at a conference, a big librarians conference. Once they found out that he was going to talk about how the Narcan's being distributed, about the homeless people and the bums coming in there, and how to handle them the right way, they literally blacklisted him. They kicked him out of it, and they blacklisted him from the industry because it's captivated and run by leftists who want to do. They literally want their librarians to administer Narcan instead of library books to kids. They want to let it be a homeless shelter, a day shelter. So libraries and they want it to be a transgender story hour place. So libraries are being destroyed and have been destroyed slowly but surely by the left. Period. Same thing with the WNBA. It's destroyed before it even gets off its feet because of the way they're handling things. Coming up in just a moment, James Tallarico. Did he possibly violate the dating ban as a Texas legislator? Well, the New York Times is saying some things that are very interesting on that, as is Texas Scorecard and Dallas Express. Also, Tallarico's gender mutilation record comes under fire in Texas Senate race, says Texas Scorecard. That in just 1 second. And one of our local media outlets goes to and uses the Southern Poverty Law Center as an official source on a local story about a racism type of a story locally in the Metroplex. The Southern Poverty Law Center. They go to them and quote them in a story on the day that the former Southern Poverty Law Center official, a former official, has been arrested for alleged financial fraud for paying all these white supremacist people, putting them on their payroll. Unbelievable. What TV station is that? Didn't surprise me. All that in a moment. But first, I was talking to John Hopkins. I talk to the guy almost every day because he is my roofer. He did major construction on my house. Dude, copper gutters. Copper gutters. They look incredible. Shutters, brand new from scratch, built with cedar wood and stained. A brand new door, stained wood door installed on my house. Also, of course, Class 4 shingles on my new roof. Completely new decking. So like everything about the roof has been ripped off and replaced. The decking on my house was mushy because it was too thin. The last roofer 7 years ago either didn't know or didn't care to look up code, because guess what? My insurance company is paid for the decking on my roof. Thick, proper decking with radiant barrier, by the way, added in for free. Look at the house. Look at what they did at my house. Here is my roof before. Wait, I got to find the before picture. Hold on. Here we go. Here's John Hopkins from Blue Ribbon Roofing on my roof. Before, look at what my roof looked like as far as the color.
On you. I think you wanted that. I guess I'll do the show then. Yeah, you do the show.
Anyways, there he is on my roof. We'll look at the new roof now. Class 4 shingles, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Beautiful new roof. And then after that, here they are putting my new decking on. Just an amazing job. Class 4 shingles, right here. You want Class 4 shingles, call Blue Ribbon Roofing and ask for Class 4 shingles. Why? Because you will get a discount, a nice discount off of your insurance. In fact, my Class 4 shingle discount is $600 and something bucks a year off my policy. Plus, with the new roof discount, I'm saving $2,200 a year. My policy went from $5,500 a year to $3,300 a year. That's insane. That's Blue Ribbon Roofing. Look at this. There's my brand new door they installed and stained. Here's the brand new shutters they put on. I got to get you a picture. I can't believe I haven't shown you a picture yet of my gutters. They're incredible. As John said, you're going to be the only guy in the area with copper gutters. Here's John Hopkins on the right, his wife Tish on the left, their son Trevor, and his wife Jenna. She's the first person I talked to when I called Blue Ribbon Roofing. There they are, year after year, winning Best of McKinney. They are your roofer. They are the best roofer. They've totally blown up my house and made it look incredible. Go to blueribbondfw.com, blueribbondfw.com, and tell them Chris Croc sent you. All right, blueribbondfw.com. And by the way, if your roof is 8 years old, or getting close to that, don't wait. Because if you have damage and it's after 8 years old, a lot of insurance companies, a lot of them now, don't pay the full amount to replace the roof. It's not just your deductible. They pay what the roof is worth versus what it will cost to replace the new one. Don't wait. Get them on your roof. I didn't think there was any damage on my roof. Well, my insurance company did, and they paid it out. Okay? BlueRibbonDFW.com. Now, do you know what it's like to be single? I mean, maybe you've been single your whole adult life, and you don't think it's a big deal. Sometimes you might struggle. Maybe you don't. Do you have a family and friends to support you if you're single? Maybe you are widowed. Maybe you are divorced. There is a singles Bible study every week at Prestonwood Church that is so amazing that people pay me that are members of the class to advertise that this class is that incredible. That's how much they believe in this class. That's how incredible the preaching is. Not the church, not Prestonwood Church, but the people of the class are paying me. Here's them. The class being taught there at preaching at Prestonwood Church every Wednesday at 6:30 is the singles ministry. There they are. Afterwards, they go to places like Free Play and play video games and get food. They go to Snuffers. They even do roller skating trips together as a class. How cool is that? They do car shows, learn how to do West Coast or East Coast swing. Here they are greeting you when you come in. They give hugs if you want one. But it is an incredible singles ministry, and so much so that the class wants you to know some of the people in the class are paying me to tell you about it. It is called the Resonate Singles Bible Study every Wednesday. Here is their information. No, that's my information. Let me give you theirs. Here is their information. Resonate Singles at Prestonwood Church in Plano. They Resonate Singles Bible Study, Prestonwood Church, ages 30s plus, every Wednesday at 6:30. Prestonwood Christian Academy building, the Horner Room. I would just go to Prestonwood Church Wednesday and say, where's the Prestonwood Christian Academy? Then go to the Horner Room. A meaningful support, Bible study, warm fellowship, Pastor Brandon's incredible. It's a vibrant community of Christian singles at Prestonwood Baptist Church in Plano. Meaningful connection, spiritual growth await. They study the Bible. They volunteer together. They go to events together. They have so much fun, warm fellowship before, during, and after. And afterwards, like I said, they'll go to Jimmy John's, Chili's, Snuffers. It's just an amazing place to go if you're single. Whether you, it's just great. So check it out. And here's also a QR code if you want to scan the QR code to check out about going to the class. They would love to see you. They had, since I started advertising this for them, they said they've had about several people show up that have never been a part of the group. Go and find out why. I'm serious. Who the hell pays somebody like me, okay, pays somebody to tell you about their Sundays or their Bible study on Wednesday nights? That's how amazing this place is. This is the kind of logo they have up on their Facebook page. All right. And just amazing stuff. I got to show you a video from Pastor Brandon coming up tomorrow. I'll show that for you. But there you go. Just go to Resonate Singles on Facebook. Okay? And there you have it. Okay. Tellerico. Tellerico is silent. According to Dallas Express today, Tellerico is silent on staff dating ban after campaign reverses timeline. Oh, they reversed the timeline. When were you dating your girlfriend that you said you weren't dating when she was your subordinate, huh? State Rep James Tellerico did not answer Dallas Express questions from whether lawmakers should be prohibited against dating employees they supervise after his campaign provided conflicting accounts of when he began dating his former chief of staff. New York Times reported August 6th, so 6 days ago, that Tellerico's relationship with his girlfriend, Miss Menard, began while she remained a top aide. The New York Times, the leftist New York Times, who loves James Tellerico, reported that Tellerico began his relationship with Miss Menard while she remained a top aide. He violated, if this is correct, well, New York Times, according to that, he violated, I believe, Texas, the regulations for lawmakers in Texas. 4 years ago, after he and his then chief of staff developed feelings for each other and started dating, she left the office. Well, that's not what the New York Times says. That account conflicts with a statement the campaign provided the Texas scorecard June 1st, says Dallas Express. Dallas Express sent the following questions, which they did not answer. Tellerico's campaign. Does he support an equivalent Texas restriction and whether it should cover paid and unpaid interns as far as dating? The outlet also asked when his relationship with former Chief of Staff Brianna Maynard began and whether he had dated any other legislative employee or intern while in office. Current U.S. House rules prohibit members from engaging in sexual relationships with an employee. Somebody better tell James he's not going to win the Senate race, so I guess we don't really have to worry. But Tellerico's gender mutilation record comes under fire in Texas Senate race. This is today from Texas Scorecard. Democrat U.S. Senate candidate James Tellerico, now says he does not support gender mutilation surgery for minors, but when Texas lawmakers voted to prohibit the procedure, he voted no. So, you don't want gender mutilation for children, but you voted against banning gender mutilation for children when you were in the Texas House and the law came up for voting. We passed the law, but Tellerico voted against stopping genital mutilation for teenagers. Okay, it is WFAA TV Channel 8, which does not surprise me. They are woke. WFAA TV Channel 8 has a reporter named Aaron Heft. They go through reporters a lot faster than they used to. I've never heard of this lady. But today she did a story about hate messages spray painted along Mesquite Interstate drawing condemnation. Now, they're really nasty stuff. I'm not defending it at all. It's vile, racial stuff that doesn't belong anywhere. But who did she go to? Who did WFAA TV Channel 8 and the reporter Aaron Heft, who did they go to as an expert to talk about these horrible, racial, racist statements spray painted? I don't usually use the word racist to describe something. I'll say it's racially charged, but this was direct, vile stuff. But anyways, who do they go to for an expert to talk about this? They went to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, they interviewed a guy from a senior research analyst at the Southern Poverty Law Center. He says white supremacist messaging can be intended to intimidate members of the community. Wait. WFAA TV Channel 8, covering the story, righteously covering the story, goes to the Southern Poverty Law Center for their experts. Well, look at the other story today. The Wall Street Journal. Former Southern Poverty Law Center official arrested for alleged financial fraud. You know what this is about. Paying white supremacists on your payroll so that you can use them to make stories up, so that you can say how important the Southern Poverty Law Center is and why you need them so badly to leftists. They're corrupt. They're criminal. And here we go. Former director at the Southern Poverty Law Center arrested for allegedly overseeing secret payments to informants from white supremacist groups. So the Southern Poverty Law Center is shoveling tons of money to white supremacist groups, and WFAA TV Channel 8 goes to them to ask them a question about white supremacists. This is WFAA TV Channel 8. This is the woke local news media going to the Southern Poverty Law Center for expert advice or expert takes today. Heidi Burick, who once tracked hate groups for the Southern Poverty Law Center, indicted in Alabama for her alleged role, which is where the headquarters are in Montgomery, for her alleged role in the scheme, and self-surrendered in California. The indictment says Burick was a romantic relationship with a white supremacist informant who received $140,000 between 2015 and 2021 in joint accounts. The two shared. Here's $140,000. Let's share the bank account. Corruption? Illegal? Gee, I wonder. And this is who WFAA TV Channel 8 went to today for expert take. Her indictment is part of a larger federal case involving the SPLC. So what else here? Quote, as alleged, I believe she was part of the effort to open bank accounts in completely fictitious companies' names, make payments to individuals for reasons that were not accurate as described, said Attorney General Todd Blanche. Grand jury indicted her, a 59-year-old in Palm Springs, California, on charge of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to submit false statements to a federally insured bank. Prosecutors said she could face decades in prison. But don't worry, Channel 8 still goes to the Southern Poverty Law Center for expert advice. These people, you think these idiots, you think these people at Channel 8 don't know this? They know it, but they still want to go to them. It's embarrassing for them. Shame on them. At least 5 undergraduate girls. Remember the illegal migrants that the 70,000 illegal migrants or more? No. Like, what was it, 100,000 that invaded Spain? Remember that? Well, now today coming out from Breitbart is this. At least 5 underage girls were allegedly raped from these Moroccan illegal migrants in Ceuta, Spain. This is what the leftist socialist government of Spain gets you. An invasion and women, young girls, underage girls being raped. The mass invasion of illegals from Morocco, Breitbart reports, into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta last month allegedly coincided with at least 5 young girls being raped. According to a report from the local El Pueblo de Ceuta newspaper, the University Hospital of Ceuta treated at least 5 girls under the age of 14 years old after they were apparently raped. Girls believed to have come to the Spanish territory during the coordinated storming of the border. Spanish authority claimed to have returned them within days. Local reports indicate that thousands more likely remained in the city. So, there you go. Illegal migrants and underage girls being raped. Are you surprised? I'm not. It's sick, it's sad, it's vile, but I'm not surprised. Oh, here we go. From the Star-Telegram today. Hong, that's the Democrat Socialist crazy loon for Wisconsin running for governor, who lost by a couple thousand votes, which is stunning. Hong lost Wisconsin primary. How can I fear socialism now? Is some opinion column in the Star-Telegram today. Are you stupid? You want us to dismiss it now? They won in Colorado. They won in New York City with the mayor. They won in New York City with 2 or 3 new politicians. They won in Michigan with what's his full name is Abdul Abdul Rahman Muhammad El Sayed in Michigan. The same guy who wants to take away our guns and switch out our Second Amendment right for free health care for all, which is a scam that he won't take and his wife won't take. She doesn't even take. She's a psychiatrist. She doesn't even take insurance, Medicaid, or any of that stuff. No. They pulled in about $700,000 last year. And yesterday I played some video of you with Hassan Piker, who he loves and campaigned with, and so did what's her name, Hong. And Hassan Piker is worth $34 million. He pulls in about $4 million a year, and he wants socialism. Yet he lives in a $4.7 million home in West Beverly Hills or whatever it is, West Hollywood, and he has several homes. But he wants socialism. You figuring this out? Mm-hmm. Anyway, and AOC is socialist, but Bernie Sanders is socialist, and so Hong lost the primary. How can I fear socialism now? Says a fool in the Star Telegram. Get out of here. Driver high on cocaine and drunk, sentenced in crash that killed retired Texas nurse. She was hit and killed by this illegal, Daniel Rascon Saenz, illegally living in the U.S., sentenced today or yesterday up to 40 years in prison, pleading guilty to 3 felony charges stemming from a high-speed drunk driving crash that killed a retired nurse and severely injured 2 of her family members in Parker County. Another illegal killing us. I gotta do something here. I have to put this image on. I just got this from my friend Mike Gallagher. Mike's a friend. We both. I fill in for Salem Radio all the time, and I can't tell you how many times I see Mike, hang out with Mike, talk to Mike. It's ridiculous. Every year I go to 1 or 2 conventions in New York City. He's always there. We always hang out. He is very close and dear friends with somebody who I'm very close and dear friends with over at Salem. I fill in for my friend Mark Davis a lot here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I fill in for The Answer in Chicago, so both of their stations. Anyways, Mike, so I have a good relationship with a lot of people at Salem. They're great people. But let me share this with you. This is something he just tweeted out. Remember how Trump, the big story today, one of the big stories is that Trump went in a vending truck or whatever, instead of being whisked away in a vending truck instead of Air Force One when Iran tried to kill him. Here's a new meme that Gallagher just put out like an hour ago. Watch. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, is that funny or what? There he is. Look at that. Trump is hiding in the vending truck. Hat tip to my friend Mike Gallagher. Anyways, yeah, Mike flew in for a dear friend and mentor of mine at Salem. He flew in here in Dallas-Fort Worth for his birthday party, a surprise birthday party. I was at that. Mike and I sat next to each other. I met Mike in person for the first time about 2 years ago at one of these broadcast conventions, and we were behind the scenes, and we talked for probably 30 minutes. He's really sweet. He's a fan of my work. I'm not gonna lie. He says that, and he's really an amazing. He's a sweetheart of a guy. He's a wonderful man, Mike Gallagher. Okay, I think I might have something else to show you. I don't know what else I got here. Hold on. Trying to see. Oh, speaking of the DSA, here's what the DSA's solution is to rape. This is, I think, in Los Angeles, interviewing like the number 2 person in the DSA.
That DSA takes. Let's talk about some of them. Your policy agenda on law enforcement is to defund police, ultimately to get rid of police departments, correct?
Well, what I would say is that we're dramatically overspending on police right now.
I understand. The goal is to defund the police departments so we don't need them in the future.
I think what we really want to see is a horizon where folks are not reliant on armed enforcement to meet our public safety needs.
Right, but it says defund police on the website. That's your goal. And also to get rid of prisons and jails, correct?
Yes.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing, and we're not spending money on things that actually make people safe and feel safe.
So this idiot literally says, I don't want to talk about hypotheticals. This lady says, I want to abolish prisons and police. Okay, what happens if my daughter gets raped? I don't want to talk about hypotheticals. So are you telling me that when you guys take over, if you take over, God forbid, that women won't be raped? Well, no. Okay, so when a woman's raped and you're in charge, who will investigate it? Who will get them, and where will they go? I don't want to talk about hypotheticals. Okay, so we'll just give you the keys to the car, and when women are raped, we'll just hope that you do the best. Yeah. And do I have something else? I do. This is great. This chick is this lady is getting married here. You'll see she's got married, and the guy announces the groom and the bride, and he announces the groom and the bride. I don't know if he's a reverend or whatever, but she's not taking her husband's name. But nobody told the guy. When a woman won't take another man's name, that means she is running the pants in the family. That means the man has low T. That means the woman is in charge. That means the woman is a leftist. And I feel bad for any guy that would marry somebody like this, some guy who would neuter himself. But let's watch how it goes down. It's not bad, but it's still, there's my commentary.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the newly married couple, Mr. and Mrs. Brandon Key. Mr. Brandon Key and his wife, Regina Alui.
Let me pause it and go back for a second, because let's see that face.
Wife, Regina Alui.
Yeah, she's running everything. She's running everything. This is going to be a miserable guy. That's exactly what's going to happen here. Any woman that will not take her husband's name is a leftist and has a leftist agenda. There's no question. Hard pass on this chick if I were single. Hard pass. I'm not letting her wear the pants in the family. Not that I'm some, trust me, my wife tells me to shut up all the time. Trust me, my wife tells me, you told me that already. I don't want to hear it again. She'll always put me in my place. She's in the other room. Trust me, she'll put me in my place when I come outside. She'll be lecturing me about how I was loud and I sound like an angry white man in the other room. Here's Marcos Lopez. He says, Islam won't let that happen. That's exactly right. If she ain't no Islam marriage is where you're going to keep your own maiden name.
You did not tell me that.
I thought you knew.
You didn't tell me that.
I thought it was great.
She's going to end up being some Karen who will key somebody's Tesla in a couple of years. All right, just to make sure you donate to Thrive Counseling Services. It's just an amazing group that does counseling for women who are victims of sex trafficking. If you didn't catch that segment, go back a little earlier in the show. And here's a link. I'm going to leave up a link as I kind of close out the show, if I can find my link for it. If you want to donate to help women who are survivors of sex trafficking get the counseling they need to heal and thrive in their lives. Okay? It's part of North Texas Giving Day. You can donate early right now and all the way through North Texas Giving Day. That little address right there will take you directly to donate. I donate every month. They're an amazing Christian ministry providing Christian licensed professional counseling to victims of sex trafficking. It's unbelievably compelling. And go back in the podcast if you missed it. Stacy Silva's the founder. It's just an amazing group, okay? And if you want, you can do a scan on the QR code and donate like I do. I donate every month. I'm a monthly donor automatically. But there you go. If you want to scan the QR code and donate, they're one of my sponsors, but they're doing God's work for women who are victims of sex trafficking in Dallas-Fort Worth, okay? This show has been brought to you by IRSprob.com. I'm a very proud client of IRSprob.com. They've been a sponsor for over 10 years, helping good people with IRS problems. IRSPROB.com. Specializing in IRS tax, IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. I will see you tomorrow, guys. Don't forget to tune in Friday morning. I'll be on in Chicago. All this stuff will be on my social media feeds from 5 to 9 a.m. And then later in the day, I'll be on in Buffalo from 3 to 5 p.m. on Friday. Then next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll be on in Indianapolis. Tuesday, I'll be on in Chicago again in the morning. And Wednesday night, I'll be on in Phoenix in the afternoon there, but kind of the evening here. Busy